History is full of unsolved mysteries, but what's more terrifying than the unknown is the truth that eventually comes to light. What really happened to the Somerton Man, found dead with no ID and a cryptic code in his pocket? What made entire families disappear from lighthouses in the middle of the night? And why were dozens of children vanishing from a Scottish orphanage without explanation? These mysteries haunted generations until someone finally uncovered the chilling answers. Welcome to the top 8 scariest historical mysteries that were finally solved, from eerie to outright horrifying. Let's get started. Starting off at number 8, in 1994, a woman named Gloria Ramirez was rushed to a California hospital. She was having severe heart palpitations, just 31 years old. But when doctors tried to save her, something horrifying happened. Nurses noticed a strange oily sheen on her skin. Her breath smelled like garlic and ammonia. Then boom, medical staff started collapsing. One by one, 6 people fainted. Some had trouble breathing. One had to be hospitalized for weeks. The ER was evacuated and Gloria was declared dead within 45 minutes. Rumors exploded. Was she radioactive? A secret bioweapon? An alien? She became known as the Toxic Lady. But years later, scientists finally cracked the case. Gloria had been using DMSO, a weird chemical once sold as a cure-all. When hospital staff gave her oxygen, the DMSO may have transformed into dimethyl sulfate, a highly toxic gas. That explains the fainting, nausea, and chemical smell. So no aliens, no conspiracy, just a bizarre, tragic mix of science and mystery. Gloria Ramirez, the toxic woman of Riverside, remains one of the scariest solved medical mysteries in history. Would you have stayed in that ER? Coming up next at number 7, deep in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, lurks a creature so terrifying, locals won't go near the woods at night. Cloven hooves, bat wings, glowing red eyes. Meet the Jersey Devil. According to legend, it was born in 1735, child number 13 of a woman named Mother Leeds. Fed up with poverty and curses, she screamed, "Let this one be the devil." And boom, the baby transformed into a monster and flew up the chimney. Nice parenting, right? For centuries, people claimed to see it. It attacked livestock, terrorized towns, even shut down schools in 1909 after a massive wave of sightings. Panic spread like wildfire. But here's the twist. This mystery may have been solved. Enter Norman Jeffries, a PR stunt master. He faked footprints, spread rumors, and even rented a kangaroo, painted it green, glued wings on it. Voila, instant Jersey Devil. Yep, the terrifying tale might have been one of the first viral hoaxes in US history, but the legend, still alive, still spooky. Next up at number 6, in 1944, the small town of Mattoon, Illinois was gripped by fear. A mysterious figure was breaking into homes, but not to steal. He was spraying gas through windows. Residents reported a sweet, sickly smell, followed by nausea, paralysis, even temporary loss of consciousness. They called him the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. He was never caught. No fingerprints, no footprints, just a growing wave of mass panic. Newspapers ran wild with headlines. People armed themselves. Police launched all-night patrols. But here's the twist. Experts now believe there may have never been a gasser at all. No solid physical evidence. No chemicals found. Instead, it may have been a perfect storm of wartime anxiety, media hype, and mass hysteria. Yup, the entire town might have panicked itself into imagining a villain. During World War II, with husbands away, nerves were on edge. Add a few scary headlines, and suddenly, shadows become suspects. So was it a madman with poison gas? Or just fear playing tricks on a whole community? Either way, the Mad Gasser left behind one of America's creepiest and weirdest mysteries. Vanished like gas in the wind. Up next at number 5, imagine stumbling upon a skeleton so huge, it made Paul Bunyan look like a toddler. That's exactly what happened in 1895, when loggers in Dyerville, California, claimed to have uncovered a giant human skeleton, over 10 feet tall. People freaked out. Was it a lost race of giants? A missing link? Maybe even a creature from myth? The story exploded in local papers. Scientists, thrill seekers, and mystery lovers rushed in. Everyone wanted a glimpse of this prehistoric Goliath. But here's the twist. This was no ancient giant. It was a hoax. Turns out, it was just a cleverly carved wooden sculpture, aged with chemicals and buried as a prank. The mastermind? A local sculptor with way too much free time and a twisted sense of humor. For years, people believed it. Photos vanished. Reports contradicted. Even historians debated it. But once the truth came out, it became one of the scariest solved mysteries of all. Proof that the biggest monsters can come from our imagination. So next time you're walking in the woods and see a bone sticking out of the ground, maybe don't trust it right away. Halfway there, at number 4, in 1926, the Queen of Crime vanished. For real. Agatha Christie, already a famous author, kissed her daughter goodnight and then disappeared into the night. Her car was found abandoned on a cliffside, lights on, engine still running, and her coat left behind. It looked like a tragic end, except there was no body. For 11 days, Britain freaked out. Police, volunteers, even other authors searched everywhere. Some thought she'd drowned. Others said murder. A few even suspected it was all a PR stunt. Then, plot twist, she was found alive at a spa hotel under a fake name, registered as the mistress of her husband's husband's lover. Wait, what? Agatha claimed she had amnesia. Doctors backed it up, but she never really explained what happened. Ever. Not in interviews, not in her autobiography. Never. The mystery was eventually solved on paper. Experts say the stress of her mother's death, a failing marriage, and her husband's affair caused a mental breakdown. She'd lost her memory and identity, but somehow chose a name linked to her husband's mistress. Even today, people debate what really happened. Did she fake it to embarrass her cheating husband? Was it trauma, or was it her greatest mystery ever written in real life? Either way, it's one of the eeriest stories in literary history. The master of mystery becoming one herself. Agatha Christie disappeared for 11 days and left behind a question even Hercule Poirot couldn't answer. Or could he? Next up at number 3, imagine hundreds of children buried in unmarked graves and no one knew why. This isn't a horror movie. This happened in real life. Welcome to one of the darkest and real historical mysteries, the Orphanage Graves of Smyllum Park in Scotland. For decades, the truth was buried, literally. Smyllum Park Orphanage opened in 1864, run by nuns from the Daughters of Charity. To outsiders, it seemed like a safe haven for poor children, but behind closed doors, it was more like a nightmare. Former residents later spoke of beatings, silence, cold beds, and fear, but no one believed them. Then whispers began about children disappearing. Locals knew about a small cemetery nearby, just a grassy patch with barely any stones. But in 2003, 2 former residents made a chilling discovery. They claimed dozens of children were buried there, in secret. Journalists and researchers teamed up, combined through records. What they found, unbelievable. At least 402 children died at the orphanage from 1864 to 1981, most buried in mass, unmarked graves. No proper headstones, no records for families, just names on a list, lost to history until now. The truth was hidden for over a century. Turns out, many kids died from disease, poverty, or even neglect. But why cover it up? Was it shame, guilt, or something darker? That's the real mystery. Today, Smyllum Park is closed. A memorial stands where the forgotten lay, but the ghosts of the past still whisper through the grass. Because sometimes, history doesn't stay buried. Why did no one say anything for so long? And what other secrets are hiding in safe places like this? Coming up next at number 2. In 1948, a man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Australia. No ID, no wallet, no clue who he was. Just a crisp suit, polished shoes, and a mysterious scrap of paper in his pocket that read, Tamam Shud, Persian for, it is ended. Creepy, right? This guy had no obvious cause of death. Poison? Maybe. Suicide? Could be. But here's where it gets wild. Tucked in a secret pocket of his pants, a torn page from a rare book of Persian poetry, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. And get this, when police tracked down the actual book it came from, it had a hidden code scribbled inside and a phone number, straight out of a spy novel. The number led to a woman named Jestin. When police showed her the dead man's photo, she nearly fainted, but she claimed not to know him. Suspicious much? Was he a Cold War spy? A jilted lover? People have guessed for decades, and no one knew until 2022. A professor used DNA from the man's hair to build a family tree, genealogy style. After 70 years, he was identified as Carl Webb, an engineer from Melbourne. No secret agent, no international mystery, just a regular guy with a dark, strange ending. But here's the scary part. We still don't know how or why he died. No poison, no struggle, just dropped dead on the beach with poetry in his pocket and a silent code. The mystery may be solved, but the truth might still be 6 feet under. Tamam Shud. At last but not least, have you ever heard of a murder so chilling? The killer lived in the house before and after the crime? Welcome to the nightmare known as the Hinterkaifeck murders, one of the creepiest true stories to ever haunt Germany. A family of 6, including a baby, is brutally murdered on their remote farm. But here's the terrifying part. The killer didn't just strike and run. Days before the attack, farmer Andreas Gruber noticed footprints in the snow, leading to the house, but none leading away. He also heard footsteps in the attic. Tools went missing. A newspaper appeared from nowhere. He told no one. Then, boom, one by one, the family is lured to the barn and murdered with a pickaxe. Even the maid who had just arrived that day was killed in her bed. The youngest victim? A baby, barely 2 years old. But here's where it gets extra creepy. Neighbors said smoke was coming from the chimney days after the murders. Bread was baked. Meals were eaten. The cows were milked. The killer stayed in the house, living among the corpses. Over 100 suspects were questioned, but no one was ever convicted. Was it a vengeful neighbor, a jealous lover, or someone living inside the walls? But wait, in 2022, exactly 100 years later, cold case experts may have solved it. Modern forensics, old rumors, and buried confessions all point to one name: Lorenz Schlittenbauer, the neighbor who discovered the bodies and just might have had a twisted motive. Still, with no physical evidence, it remains officially unsolved. But whether it was Lorenz or someone even darker, one thing is clear: the Hinterkaifeck farmhouse holds secrets that refuse to die. Would you spend a night there?